Yeah, darling, 4 weddings. Yeah, Rocky 4, 5, 6.
Excuse me, I bought this video from you last Saturday.
So?
Well, I can't understand a word.
Train spotting? Not surprised. All talking in Scotch, ain't they?
No, I mean, it's the sound.
Yeah.
It's hopeless. It's absolutely hopeless.
Yeah, no trains in it either. I suppose that's my fault as well. Here you are, darling, $4.99.
Well, the picture's rubbish as well.
Well, that's your tracking, mate.
Well, it's all right on my other videos.
Tracking's touchy.
Be careful. Most pirate videos are unwatchable, and there's no comeback.
Got a receipt, eh? Got a receipt?
Look, you said last week.
Said's no good, mate. Oral contract. Not worth the paper it's printed on. Here you are, darling, 4 weddings. Train spotting. As advertised on Crime Stoppers.
Pirate videos, daylight robbery.
Where did you get those wellies?
Off the man in the sight office. Don't you remember the little man with the limp? Oh, Bob, look. The damp course.
How could I ever forget?
And a week later?
The main drainage. My house. You know, I can't get used to saying that. Have you seen my house? Why don't you all come round to my house? We could meet at my house. I'm thinking of selling my house.
Oh, come on, we haven't moved in yet. Anyway, it's our house.
I know, Pet. Our house. Chez nous.
Oh, Bob. I can't wait to move in. Well, what's on those other slides, love?
Well, I don't think it's any more the house. I just think they're all a mixture of everything.
Are you happy? I mean, really, really happy?
I'm fantastically happy.
I am. Oh, I know it's silly, but sometimes it worries me I'm so happy. I keep expecting something to come along and spoil it.
Daft thing. What could possibly do that?
You did that on purpose.
No, I didn't, darling. I just picked one out at random.
Now, some jokes I can understand, like electrocuting people or putting a piranha in their bath. But suddenly, just like that, producing him, I mean, it's not funny.
Thelma, I just picked it out. It was just like a lucky dip.
Oh.
A lucky dip. Or an unlucky dip. It could have been anything. It could have been your sister's wedding or my first bicycle or us caravanning in East Links. It just happened to be the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was just the shock. He's always been there, you know, Bob. A nagging doubt haunting me.
Love, dearest. It isn't as if he's even a friend of mine anymore. He hasn't written to me, spoken to me in over 4 years, not a whisper. Even when he came home on leave 2 Christmases ago, he didn't bother to look me up. Even though my mother sent him a racing calendar. I mean, I hardly know Terry Collier now.
Hmm.
Oh. I know what's the matter with you.
What?
You're upset 'cause I'm going to London.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. I'm on business, not a big last fling. I'm only a cheap day return.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go and make you some tea and cheese and biscuits. It was just seeing that.
My laddie wants some chocolate.
Rabbits don't eat chocolate. They eat lettuce, carrots, stuff like that. They are vegetarians.
Mine doesn't.
Look, I think Rabbit would like a little lie down. He's not feeling too well, what with the train ride and all that chocolate and you swinging him round like that by his left ear hole. Let's put him up here, shall we? In his little hammock.
He wants some chocolate.
No, he doesn't. You are wrong and I am right. Bunny is in his bunk, kipping furiously, dreaming of bunny girls and doesn't wish to be disturbed until he gets to Paddington.
Thanks ever so much. Did they play up?
No, not at all. I've got away with kids.
I'm grateful. Are you in the services?
Was. I'm on terminal leave. Finished. Done it all. 5 years.
Did you enjoy it?
And apart from this, yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, I never talk about it.
So,
Well, please, you want to know.
do you live in London?
No, just passing through, getting the train up north tonight. A few hours to kill.
Oh, you'd be more than welcome to come back with me. Get your feet up for the day if you want.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, why not? You'd like my husband. He was a Marine.
Yes, well, it's very kind of you, but I've only got the day, you see, so I should really see relatives. That's it. Must spend the day with the family.
Any spare seats? Oh, sorry. Was that your foot?
It's all right, I've got another.
What's up with the lights?
Power failure. Typical.
Would you believe it? The jet age. High-speed gas. Intercity makes the going great.
Typical of this country.
That'll mean there'll be no heating on either. There's any heat your side. Oh, sorry again.
It was me knee that time.
Sorry, mate.
How far are you going?
Newcastle.
For God's sake, sit down. We'll all be black and blue by the time we get there.
Are you from up that way?
Near there. Haven't been back for ages. Just come out of the army.
Oh, aye. Enjoy it.
Got a lot out of it. Got a lot out of it.
Aye, I nearly went in once.
Could have done a lot worse.
Actually, there's a funny story attached to it. See, I had this mate. Well, my best mate, you know. Very close. Anyway, a few years back, I decided it might be a good idea to join the services, you know, get away for a bit. See something of the world, so I signed on. Well, when I went away, this mate of mine, he couldn't take it. He went to pieces. He couldn't function without me. I suppose it was like losing your right arm. So he signs on just to be with me. Only you'll never guess. He gets in, and I get discharged, flat feet. I'm free again, and he's in for 3 years. I can still see the look on his face. I still laugh when I think about it. I mean, it's a sad story in a way, because he hasn't spoken to me like since, you know. But when you're telling a story, I mean, when you're telling someone else, You've got to see the funny side. You've got to laugh.
You bastard.
Terry.
You rotten bastard. You've got to laugh, haven't you? You've got to see the funny side. You've got to laugh at the fact that your best mate missed the most important years of his life. It is a joke.
I'm very sorry, Terry.
Sorry? What does that mean? That's what you said 2 minutes ago when you stepped on me foot. I'm sorry you're supposed to wipe the slate clean.
Look, we tried to buy you out. Honestly, as soon as I got back to the factory, I organised a whip round. We just couldn't raise enough funds.
What do you mean? What about me going away whip round? There was no shortage of funds for that.
Aye, I know. Well, that was for your going away. We couldn't seem to raise the same amount of support for you coming back.
I suppose you had to laugh at that as well.
No, I don't mean it's funny, ha-ha. I mean, well, it's ironical, if you like.
Oh, yes, it's ironical. It's ironical that when this country goes through a social transformation, I'm not here to see it. It's ironical that everybody over here is having the best time they've ever had since the Roaring Twenties. I'm stuck in a Nissan hut in BFPO 14. I missed it all. Swinging Britain was just hearsay to me. Something I read about in the overseas edition of the Daily Mail. The death of censorship, the new morality, oh, Calcutta topless waitresses and see-through knickers.
They never caught on. Topless waitresses.
Well, that's a crumb of comfort. At least I'd like to have been here to see them not catching on. Permissive society, I missed it all. I get back and it's Malcolm Muggeridge, Lord Longford and the Jesus Revolution.
Well, it wasn't all that much.
It has to be better than Munch and Gladbach.
Where?
Exactly. Munch and Gladbach.
Where's that?
Munch and Gladbach is the West Hartlepool of West Germany. You get the picture?
Look, Terry, what happened, happened. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't engineer it. It wasn't all part of a grand plan. It wasn't a conspiracy. It was kismet. Fate. Like Doris Day said, que sera, sera.
I can't stand Doris Day.
Well, all right, Terry, so you don't believe me. Just ask yourself one question. Could I have forged flat feet? And would I, in all seriousness, want my own 2 feet to be flat?
I suppose not.
Thank you. Not that I suppose it means anything at all to you. I was very upset. I missed you.
Did you?
Well, we all did. Me and the lads in the factory spent 2 months and 50 plain postcards trying to get your request on two-way family favourites.
Oh, I never heard it.
Well, don't blame me, mate. Take it up with Michael Aspel.
What was the request?
Doris Day singing Que Sera, Sera.
I can't stand Doris Day.
Well, I wasn't to know that, was I? Not having heard from you. I wasn't to know what your musical tastes were. You could have been into the Pink Floyd or the Foden Works Brass Band. You're looking very well.
I am. Fit. Well, apart from this,
What's up with your leg?
I never talk about it.
Oh.
Well, how have you been then?
Fine, I can't complain.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
I had my appendix out 2 years ago.
Oh.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings?
Welcome back.
Glad to be back.
Good lad.
Oh, for God's sake, man, there's no need for all that.
I'm sorry, I always was a bit
Here.
emotional. I'll be all right. Oh. I think this is yours.
Eh? Oh, cheers.
You haven't altered much.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. You don't look a day older.
No? You do.
Do I? Well, most people don't think so.
That's probably because you put a bit of weight on.
I haven't. I've been very careful about my diet.
Put a bit on down here.
Really?
You've certainly put some on up there.
Yes, well, most people have nowadays, haven't they? People say it suits me like this. I've been told I look like Killian Stasi.
Who?
Nastasi, the tennis player, Wimbledon.
Tennis.
I like tennis. I've joined the Rockcliffe Club.
God preserve us.
I saw your mother the other day. She looked very well.
All right.
Not to speak to, like, just through the car window.
Through the what?
The car window.
What car window?
My car window.
You've got a car?
I haven't just got the window.
But you can't drive.
Of course I can drive. I've been driving for ages, man. My second car, this is.
What happened to the first?
Too small.
Yeah, well, obviously, now I'm back, one of the first things I'll have to do is get myself a car.
Got a licence, then?
Well, not exactly. I mean, only one can't, will it? I mean, driving tanks and such, I mean, it's not the same.
Of course, you've been away 5 years, haven't you?
Yeah?
But you only signed on for 3 to begin with.
Yeah.
So you must have signed on for an extra 2.
Yes, I suppose I did, if you
So
put
it
it like
can't
that.
have been all that bad. You must have enjoyed it a bit.
Well, I suppose, looking back, in retrospect, overall, by and large, it was a rewarding experience. There was enough good things to compensate for the bad.
Do you want to sit down, mate?
Do you know, I don't think that would be a bad idea. Mind you, it gave me a chance to see the world. Some fantastic places.
Like Mönchengladbach?
Well, that was only a part of it. I mean, I wasn't in Germany all the time. I've been around, man. I've seen it all. Places the ordinary bloke would never get a chance to go to.
Like where?
Well, Malta, for one. Now, there's a place. I could tell you some things about Malta.
That's fantastic. I was there last year, 2 weeks. I quite liked it. Where else have you been?
Yeah, well, I mean, Malta's not all that much cut, really, is it? I mean, anybody can get there nowadays. No, I spent most of my time in Cyprus.
Famagusta?
Yes?
In those kind of medieval barracks near the port?
Yes, why?
We were in that new luxury hotel just beyond there. 7th floor with a balcony. We could look right down on your quadrangle.
Parade ground.
I'm surprised they didn't include you in the brochure. On a clear day, you can see Corporal Collier. It looked a desperate place, though.
Well, I only worked there, man. Every weekend I was off all over the place. I once spent a week's leave in Tunis.
That's incredible. We were there. This year, smashing hotel, 2 pools, French cuisine.
I was then posted to the Gobi Desert. How funny we didn't run across each other there.
No, but it's a small world, isn't it? When you think, while I've been sitting in my luxury hotels on my balcony sipping martinis, you've just been an olive stone's throw away in some dusty old barracks swilling naffy beer.
Swilling never. You're living in the dark ages, man. You've no idea what today's army's like. It's all technical and sophisticated. Water skiing in Hong Kong and growing your hair longer.
Please fill in the coupon for free colour brochure.
Oh, look, stop taking the mick. All I'm saying is I don't regret it. I learned a lot.
Well, I'm glad, man. Of course I'm glad. I mean, it makes me feel a whole lot better, doesn't it? Nice to know you owe it all to my flat feet.
Aye, well, let's drink to them, shall we?
Cheers.
So what's Paul been going on then while I've been away?
Oh, well, I don't know where to begin. I told you about my appendix, didn't I? Yeah. Well, obviously a fantastic amount's happened. A fantastic amount. Let me think. Let me see. We've got BBC Two now.
We had that before I left.
Did we? Yeah, how time flies. What's been happening? What's happened? All right, Cluffy's retired and bought a newsagent's.
Has he?
A newsagent and tobacconist, matter of fact.
Really?
Aye, I was in there only the other day to buy a birthday card for Mrs. Morris.
How fantastic. And that's it, is it? That's a brief summary of what I've missed in the last 5 years. Those are the recorded highlights, are they? Cluffy's bought a news agency and Mrs. Morris has had a birthday.
Come on, Terry, man. Obviously a lot more than that's happened. I just can't pick things out at right. You'd be surprised the changes there's been. If you kept in touch.
Yeah, well, I meant to, Bob. I mean, that first Christmas when I came home on leave, I fully intended to come round and see and patch things up. And my mum told me you'd got engaged to Thelma Chambers, so, you know...
You never liked Thelma, did you?
Well, of course I did. That's got nothing to do with it. It was just realising that nothing was going to be the same again. You can't turn the clock back. I just felt out of place. Nothing to do with Thelma. I admire her. I always have.
We broke it off just after that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I can't say I'm sorry, Bob. To be perfectly honest, that is a load off my mind. I mean, I can say it now because you are me mate, and if you're gonna get married, but not to Thelma Chambers. You can do better than that. I never could understand what you saw in her. By God, she didn't half give herself some airs, that one. She was so stuck up, she thought her backside was a perfume factory. What's the matter?
I am marrying Thelma Chambers in 6 weeks' time.
Well, you just said...
We made it up again. Oh, please don't bother to apologise. What does I'm sorry mean? You can't turn back the clock. It is obvious, Terry, that you and I have got very little in common. It amazes me that we ever did have. I wish you the very best of luck in the future, and please give my regards to your mother and father.
Same again, mate. No, hang on, I'll have a short scotch. Where does this train stop next? Doncaster?
All right.
Yeah, well, if I get off there, I suppose I can get the next train back to London. Never go back. I sacrificed the best 5 years of my life for that fella. And now he tells me he's getting married.
Don't worry, sailor. There's plenty more pebbles on the beach.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I suppose you're just going to let me sleep on. I suppose that was your childish way of getting your own back. Just going to let me wake up in Edinburgh. We might have exchanged a few harsh words, but a little tap on the window wouldn't have hurt.
I didn't think there was any point in waking you up to tell you that I was getting off at Doncaster.
You met who? Oh, I knew it. I knew it. That photo was no accident. It was an act of God, an omen. And you're trapped with him in Doncaster? Oh, well, I mean, this is it, isn't it? I mean, this is the point of no return, the moment of truth. I hope you realise, Bob, the next half hour could be a landmark in your life.
Any spare seats?
Free country?
I expect you feel the cold after the med. Why? Why? Why did you get off here?
I thought it might be the one place Bob Ferris hadn't been to.
No, seriously.
It's like you said, Bob, you can't turn the clock back.
Oh, you said that, mate. You said it first.
Well, whoever, it's true, that's the point. Apart from me folks, there's nothing for me back home. It's a long time, 5 years. Let's face it, there'll have been more changes than Cluffy's newsagent's bound to be. I'm not the same person I used to be, neither are you. I mean, it was simple enough in them days. It was birds, booze, and the dance hall. Now it's the wife and tennis clubs and scampy supper dances and holidays in Malta. All me mates will have settled down now with mortgages and children, saving up their Green Shield stamps for a new set of hot glasses. I'll be like a square peg in a round what's it. When I was first in the army, I used to think, when I get back. And then I started thinking, when I get back, what? Can't expect everything to have been kept in a deep freeze since I've left. I envy you in a way. You've got your girl, you've got your second car. Good luck.
I'm very sorry, Terry.
Aye, so am I.
It's funny. Since we met, we seem to have done nothing but apologize to each other.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that.
What? Aye, well. What will you do then?
Well, I've always thought I should try down south. London, you know, place to be, isn't it?
Aye, well, the permissive society's still going on down there, much more than up our way.
I might just catch the tail end. I caught a glimpse of it today in Soho. Not much cop.
Where?
Oh, some strip club.
Dear me. I spent most of the day around the galleries.
I was just killing time.
Which club was it?
Knave of Arts, I think it was called.
The one with the Maltese girl and the boa constrictor?
How do you know?
I must have passed it on my way to the Tate.
Is that why you went to London today, to look at paintings and things?
No, I want to get Thelma a wedding present. Something special. Bond Street.
What is it?
It's a barometer.
It's a bit big, isn't it? You'll have a hell of a job trying to stick that in her mouth.
You hang it on the wall. It tells you what the weather is.
You've only got to look out of the window to see what the weather is.
Well, she's always wanted one.
I bet her temperature will go up when you tell her you met me.
Already told her. I rang her up a few minutes ago. She was meeting me at the station.
What did she say?
She said this was my moment of truth.
People do not have moments of truth in station waiting rooms.
She said for a long time now, the threat of your return has cast a giant shadow over her entire future happiness.
She's very poetic, isn't she?
She's assistant librarian.
Mind you, I can appreciate her panic. That phone call must have put the wind right up her kilt. I bet when she's in that barrier to meet your train, she'll only be 50% certain that you'll be on it.
Get stuck.
Well, she won't believe all this, man. Us sitting here. She'll see us in Doncaster's Latin Quarter, being seen to by a pair of West Indian models to the strains of Begin the Begin.
She knows me better than that. Trust. Probably a word you don't understand. What exists between two people who are gonna get married means not having to worry what the other one's up to. Not having to care. Not having to be afraid. Not having doubts. Besides, Doncaster hasn't got a Latin Quarter. Has it? Sure you won't change your mind, Terry, and come on home. After all, it is your home.
No, my mind's made up, certain as you are. I can manage in London, once I get used to their beer. Anyway, for your sake, I'm best out of it. I don't want to cast my wiry shadow over your happiness.
So this is it, then?
Aye. I'll see you in another 5 years.
I expect Cloughie will have a chain of shops by then.
Aye.
I'll say so long, then.
So long.
God bless.
Cheers.
Bob? You've got a surprise for me.
Hello, Thelma.
please. Shh. Velma, I want to talk to you.
Well, you can't, not here.
Why are you being so unreasonable?
I'm not being unreasonable.
Yes, you are. Why are you in such a state?
I'm not in a state.
Yes, you are. You've just put human sexual response under hobbies.
Don't you recognise the symptoms? It's shock. It's delayed shock. It's the shock of knowing that Terry Collier is back in this town.
Am I to blame for that? Is it my fault he decides to return home now to his own hometown?
It just seems funny to me that he comes out the army now, just before we're getting married.
Oh, I was to blame for that. I wrote to the War Office. I said, please, could Corporal Collier have a compassionate discharge so he can come home now and drag me from the altar?
That's what he'd like to do.
He's changed. He's a different person. He's not the same person anymore. 5 years is a long time.
Why did you two break your journey last night? I mean, halfway home, why did you suddenly get off the train? Because he was putting the doubts in, that's why. There will now be a short intermission for second thoughts.
That's not the case at all. Thelma, you're being absurd. Absurd.
Why else would you get off at Doncaster in the middle of the night?
We were seduced by the distant sounds of merriment, laughter and depravity. Ho, Porter, we said, what goes on? What goes on, man? It's Mardi Gras. It's carnival time. Young virgins knotted flowers in our hair. People swayed to primitive jungle rhythms. And couples copulated the length of the Doncaster bypass. If you haven't been at Doncaster at Mardi Gras, you haven't lived.
Oh. He's back. Terry Collier's back.
What's the matter? What have you done?
God.
What have you done?
Just put my foot on the boiling bloody kettle, that's all.
What for?
What do you mean, what for?
Well, why would you put your foot on a boiling kettle? I mean, what a daft thing to do.
Well, I didn't do it on purpose. Do you think I did it on purpose? Do you think I deliberately and intentionally sustained myself first-degree burns?
Well, you gave me ever such a shock yelling like that. I thought you'd had an accident.
I have had an accident. Well, what do you want, anyway?
Milk, no sugar, please.
Round here, I meant.
I've come to see you, haven't I? I've come to extend the hand of friendship and welcome on this, the first day of your freedom. Oh, come on, cheer up, man. Today's supposed to be a day of great joy and celebration for your family and your friends and the shareholders of the Scottish and Newcastle breweries.
Joy and celebration, you what? My mum and dad aren't even home. 5 years I've been gone, not counting leaves. 5 years of hardship and toil, solitude and self-sacrifice. And what happens? I get back, the keys under the mat, there's no heat in the house, and a packet of frozen cod balls in the fridge.
Wasn't there even a note?
No, I'm allergic to fish.
Not fish and chips, you're not.
Well, it's different. It's a different sort of fish, that.
Oh, bring up your Audrey, man. She'll know where they are.
There's no heat in this house, you know. The bed's not aired. This milk's probably sour. No paper. Wireless needs a new battery. I've a good mind to sign on again.
It's not like your folks to be away, is it?
Didn't sleep a wink. Not a wink. Sat by the window and watched the dawn come up, I did. You know, Bob, watching the dawn come up over this town, watching the sun rise up over the terraced houses and the brewery, and over the glue works and the distant shot tower of the lead factory, well, it must be one of the most ugly sights in this world.
You were lucky to see as much as you did.
Made me wonder why I'd ever come back. I started feeling homesick for the army. I started thinking, you know, about all the places and the lads. Been with them a long time, some of them. Been through a lot together. Hughie McLaren now? I was with him since basic training. Next beds for 5 years.
I'm surprised there wasn't talk.
You wouldn't understand the friendships that are forged in combat.
Combat?
Taffy Lewis, I was with him in Germany. I was with him the night he brained a second lieutenant with a hock bottle.
Combat.
2 years in the glass house they gave him for that. Still, he'd met up with old Clarkie there. Little chip he was sent up soon after.
You got in with quite a nice set, then.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, to hear you talk, you'd think you'd just been released from prison, not the forces.
They were a good lot of lads, them.
What were they known as, the Dirty Dozen?
I'd trust Tuffy Lewis with my life. Not me wallet, but certainly me life.
Well, all that's in the past now, isn't it? All that's behind you now. It's time to make plans and forge ahead and build a future.
Oh, well, some of us have been able to, haven't we? Some of us have been able to forge ahead and build a future, while some of us were serving Queen and country, keeping these shores safe, so that some of us could safely get on with forging ahead and building a future, while some of us not so fortunate couldn't.
Pardon?
You've obviously done all right for yourself. And a mortgage and a car. Got a few premium bonds, have you? And I bet Thelma's got a little something stuffed away for a rainy day in the post office.
You've never liked Thelma, have you?
It's the other way around, mate.
No, you've always resented her. Oh, God, I can just see my life stretching ahead of me. My marriage is going to be like a tennis match, with you and Thelma serving for advantages over each other. I'll just be the ball that's bashed from one to the other, trying to love all. I might as well make plans for the divorce now. No point in wasting time. Mental cruelty, I suppose you'd come under.
Well, it's certainly not going to be adultery.
You might as well have the house. Only fair, only fair. Hey, I'm off. I'm supposed to be at the house now, decorating.
Was it worth it?
What?
Well, if she's going to have the house, she might at least hang her old wallpaper.
You know what you are, don't you? You'd be what's referred to as a just cause and impediment.
I am a wounded ex-serviceman simply trying to get back into society, that's all I am. A society that obviously doesn't want me. Oh!
Now what's the matter?
Me foot.
Hey! What? Why don't you go up to your Audrey's, man, up to your sister. She'll be ever so surprised to see you. And when she says, hey, where have you come from? You can say, I've come hot foot from our house.
Hello, Terry.
Hello, Stan.
Mind, I haven't seen you for a long time. On leave, are you?
Finished. Got back last night.
Get away. You're looking fit.
I'm full of cold.
Ah, well, you'll feel the cold up here. That wind gets right through you. You were in tropics, weren't you?
More or less.
Just off to see your Audrey, are you?
Aye. Cup of tea.
Ah, you'll be having a few bevies this week, eh?
More than likely.
Ah, you'll have a grand time. The welcome mat. Home is the hero, eh? The big hello.
Good God, it's you.
Is that all you can say to your little brother after 5 years?
Wipe your feet.
Home is the hero. Where's me mum and dad?
Well, they've gone to your Uncle Norman's funeral.
Who?
Uncle Norman.
Hey?
In Carlisle.
Hi. How is he?
How do you expect him to be at his own funeral?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, he had a good innings, hadn't he? How old was he? 80 what?
94.
Well, when are they coming back?
Well, they've gone to your auntie's for a day or two. She's 90, you know.
Hardly worth them coming home, is it? They've served themselves a double journey.
What a terrible thing to say, Terry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just not in the best frame of mind this morning. I didn't get back till 6 o'clock. House was like ice. There weren't enough sheets. Couldn't find hot water bottle, and I'm full of cold.
Well, you needn't come breathing your germs round here, not with a baby.
What baby?
We had another one 6 months ago.
What make?
Go, Emma Fleur.
Fleur?
F-L-E-U-R. You know, like in the Forsyte saga. It means flower in French. We haven't told you.
Mail didn't always get through some of the places I've been.
We've been in Devizes for the last 6 months.
Officially. Look, I couldn't just stay here, could I? Just till the folks get back. I feel awful. The damp's not off playing this up.
Oh, what's the matter with your leg?
I'll never talk about it.
Well, why can't you go and stay at Bob's?
Darling, she wouldn't let me.
His mother?
No, Thelma, the fiancée, she wouldn't hear of it. Oh, it's awful at home, Audrey, man. It's empty, there's no food, and you can never get a decent picture on that set.
Well, you can't stop here. Not with that cold. I couldn't take the risk. If one of us gets it, we'll all go down with it. And Wayne's very chesty.
Who's Wayne?
Oh, for God's sake, Terry, is your godson.
Oh, that Wayne. I thought for a minute you got married again.
And you owe him for 4 birthdays, 4 Christmases and a christening. We'll accept premium bonds. You never know you looked.
What a welcome.
Do you want a cup of tea? They're only tea bags, but there's some cream crackers on the table there.
I didn't expect the freedom of the city. I didn't expect a champagne buffet with the mayor and a march past. But, you know, when you've been away for 5 years serving your queen and country, you expect to come back to a little more than a cup of tea and a cream cracker.
You still take sugar?
And all the orders, wipe your feet, don't sneeze.
And don't sit there. I've just ironed that lot.
Oh, God.
Terry? Terry? Is that you?
I was tying the shoelace.
What shoelace?
Oh, no, I got the tongue tangled up with the toenail. How are you, then?
Come up to see the house, did you?
No, I was just passing. I didn't know it was your house. I've been up to our orderlies. I was just passing. I didn't know it was your house. Is this your house? Coincidence, eh?
All right. There she is.
Hey, it's a canny little house, though, but...
We haven't got a name for it yet.
Well, you'll certainly need one, won't you? Or you'll never find it again. Rows of them.
No, they're not. They're quite different. Our living room's 16 by 12. They're 15 by 13 down there.
Must be blind.
Underfloor central heating. We've decided to be all electric with plenty of points. They're well-made jobs, aren't they?
This wall plumb?
What? Well, of course it is. What makes you think it isn't?
Oh, nothing. Just that I've got an instinct for that sort of thing. There's a nasty crack in that plaster.
Where? Oh, that's just settlement, isn't it? There's bound to be a bit of that, bound to be a few teething troubles, like having a new car.
Been having trouble with that and all?
No, I haven't been having that trouble with that and all. Apart from the starter motor.
15. I only make it 15.
What?
15, definitely.
Well, it depends what size shoe you take, doesn't it? You've always had a large foot.
Oh! What the hell is that? The guillotine?
Yes, well, I admit that is something that needs fixing.
I've broken me finger.
No, you haven't, man. You haven't broken it. Not if you can wiggle it about.
Get off!
Have you noticed the windows? Bags of light. It's a feature of these houses.
Well, it makes you overlooked, doesn't it? I mean, being so cramped, there's not much privacy, is there?
Privacy? Compared to what we were brought up in, this is Woburn Abbey. You think the houses we lived in as kids, if you sneezed, they said, bless you next door.
No, but them houses had some character about them. There's just something depressing about these estates. Just the thought of you all getting up at the same time, all eating the same sort of low-calorie breakfast cereal, all coming home at 6:30, switching on the same programme at the same time and having it off the same 2 nights of the week.
You haven't had a chance to personalise it yet. Once everybody moves in and does their own decorating and choosing all the curtains and that. Got a flair for that kind of thing, has Thelma. We're having mauve and seaweed green.
At least that's unusual.
We were going to have yellow, but they're having that next door.
Ah, well, that's it. I mean, that's me point, isn't it? You've said it all. It just seems sad to me when you realise that the only way people can tell the difference between you and anybody else is by the colour of your curtains.
Well, what's wrong with being the same as everyone else? What's wrong with trying to make a little bit of modest progress? I've worked hard the last 5 years, and this is what I've got to show for it. This and the car. Might not mean much to the Burtons, but it means a hell of a lot to me. And what's so special about your lifestyle? You're homeless, jobless, carless and single. What does that amount to? Terry Collier, bachelor pedestrian. Oh, I'm sorry, kid. That wasn't a very nice thing to say. Stupid, anyway. I mean, why should all this appeal to you, eh? I mean, you don't want to be lumbered with a house and a wife that's not your scene. Can you see you married? With all those birds out there? I was always the one falling in love all over the place. But not you. You're a born bachelor, aren't you?
Ah, you're right.
Naturally independent.
True, true.
There you are, then.
Only one problem.
What?
I'm married.
Pardon?
I'm married. I am a married man. Well, say something, then. Haven't you got anything to say?
Have you got a bottle opener?
What for?
I need a drink. Right, now start at the beginning. Don't skip around. Start at the top. I want it all.
Look, Bob, look, this is the story of my marriage, not the serial on Woman's Hour.
It's the story of the century, mate. It's so unreal. It's like me getting a life peerage. Or Hartlepool winning promotion.
Well, I'm glad you're going to get so much fun out of it. Why don't you invite all your mates round, eh? Perhaps I can give a talk at the Institute and illustrate it with lantern slides, and you can all sit round peeing yourselves at my misfortune.
Misfortune?
Wounds are deep. The scars have not yet healed.
Sorry, I didn't realise.
I've only just learned to live with it.
Please, forget it, mate. Don't talk about it. If it hurts you too much, don't feel you have to tell it all. Just give me the recorded highlights.
You can't wait, can you?
I'm sorry.
During the course of my military career, 2 things happened which have left an imprint on me for the rest of my life.
The leg.
Apart from that I can live with. No. The first was when I got mortal one night in Hamburg and got tattooed on the left buttock. The second was on a rainy afternoon in November '69 when Jutta Baumgarten, spinster of the parish of Mönchengladbach, and I got married.
Incredible.
Fact.
Was she...
Funnily enough, she wasn't.
Rich dad?
Well, not especially. I suppose he had a few pfennigs put to one side or nothing more.
Love?
That's your last alternative, isn't it? She's not in the club, she's not loaded, so this must be love.
Oh, sorry, mate. I'm just going on what I know of you. Your priorities were always firmly worked out. Do you or don't you, darling? As long as she did, you weren't fussy. You'd have had a frog if you'd stopped hopping long enough.
I'm not denying that I put it about a bit. All I am saying is that I am capable of deeper emotions than wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But I'm not the person you used to know. I know now that there's more to life than the physical. I know now there's more to people than the way they look. I've changed.
So, sex didn't come into it?
Of course sex came into it. I haven't changed all that much.
We had no idea. Wasn't in the local paper. Your parents never said anything?
Well, they wouldn't, would they? They were dead against it. You know how me dad feels about the Germans. Won't even accept a lift in our Audrey's Volkswagen.
What went wrong?
What went right? I suppose it was all just a question of communication. No point of contact. Can't spend all your time in bed.
No. You had nothing else in common?
Difficult to say. She didn't speak English. And I certainly wasn't going to learn German.
Perhaps a child would have helped. Or an interpreter.
Poor Terry. I never thought I'd hear me saying that.
I never thought I'd hear you saying that.
I am human, Bob. I do have some compassion.
Even for Terry?
For any human being who's suffered. I suppose there's no chance of them...
No. It's It's definite.
Such a risk marrying a foreigner. And they're so physical, the Germans.
Yes, he said their relationship was very physical.
Oh, you've been into all that, have you?
We touched on it. He poured his heart out.
Is he still terribly upset?
I would think, looking at him, he's only just learnt to live with the pain.
Oh, poor Terry.
He's had precious little comfort coming home.
Poor boy.
So I thought the best thing would be if he comes and stays with me.
Certainly not.
He needs comfort, a shoulder to lean on, a helping hand.
Well, he's not leaning on your shoulder into the small hours. The two of you, giggling in the dark, discussing physical things. In the good old days when you were both free.
Where's all this human compassion gone?
Oh, it hasn't gone, love. I'm just saying I don't think the answer is him staying with you, going into the perils of marriage. I've got a much better idea.
What?
He can stay at my place.
He can't stay there.
It's the perfect answer. I mean, in these situations, a man needs a woman's sympathy.
Your parents are away.
Well, there'd be plenty of room.
You'd never let me stay there when your parents have been away, never. I'm always having to make dawn departures. I'm always losing sleep and risking the breathalyzer.
You can't stay because of our situation, because of the neighbours. Be different for Terry. I mean, he'd be a guest, not a lover.
He'd be more than a guest given half the chance.
Well, I'm not going to give him half the chance.
I'm not saying you would, pet lamb. But you know what he's like. On a Friday night after he's had a skinful, he can't take no for an answer. He gets the red mist.
I can handle Terry.
That's what he'll be hoping. It won't make any difference to him. It won't make any difference to him that you and I are engaged. That won't stop him chancing his arm. That won't stop him laying siege at your bedroom door.
I'm making an effort to understand and know Terry. I mean, that was what you wanted, wasn't it? I mean, you were in here this morning telling me I was unreasonable because I wouldn't do that. Well, I mean, now I'm making the gesture. To be a friend to your friend.
I want you to be a friend to my friend. I just don't want my friend getting too friendly.
Well, I'm glad we're going to all be friends together. I can't say I'm not touched, Bob, by Thelma's offer. Can't say I'm not surprised either.
Well, you know what women are like. As soon as they sniff a bit of personal tragedy coming up, they want to mother you.
Yeah, well, I must say I don't mind being mothered by Thelma for a few days. Could open up a whole new chapter in our relationship.
Yeah, that's what I thought, so I put my foot down.
You put your foot down? Don't you want me to be a friend of Thelma's?
Of course I want you to be a friend of Thelma's. Oh, I can't have you staying there, man.
You don't trust me, do you? I am your best mate and you don't trust me.
Of course I trust you.
You think I'm going to be trying it on, don't you? In the middle of the night, you think I'll be...
Laying siege?
Laying siege at our bedroom door.
No, I don't, man. Good God, if I can't trust me best friend, who can I trust? Oh, it's the neighbours, man. I mean, what would they think? I mean, it's all right me staying there. I always stay there when her mother's away. But not a stranger. I mean, they're very small-minded, you know.
Aye, well, still it's a pity, though. It's a nice little house, Thelma's. I suppose I'll just have to make do with my own cold, empty freezing house. No food, and no hot water bottle. I don't want to land myself on relatives, because if this should turn out to be another dose of malaria, it's hardly... Still, I can see your reasons for not wanting me to stay in the warmth and comfort of Thelma's home. And I can see why you didn't tell me all this until after I'd helped you put all these bookshelves up.
Where are you going?
Well, I thought I'd wander down to the bus terminal cafe, get a cup of OXO, stand next to the tea urn, I might get a bit of warmth.
Hey, I've got it. Of course, you can stay here.
Here?
Well, it's the obvious place, isn't it, man? It's centrally heated, there's tea in the kitchen, there's a wireless, and there's a bed.
Where?
Give us a hand with this.
Eh?
Get the other end. Oh. Teddy. I often stay here, you know, trying to get this place together. Oh. I often come round here at night time, you know, and do a bit of decorating, you know, and sometimes Thelma comes round and gives me a hand.
Oh, I see. A bit of premarital decorating goes on, is it?
Well, I mean, I can't at her place. I mean...
I know, the neighbours. Seems very comfy, I will say that.
It'll be our spare bed. Go on, say you'll stay. I can't see you limping off into the night. You do look knackered.
All right, Bob, you're on.
Good lad. I'll get you some blankets.
Champion.
Right, now, I'll come round first thing in the morning and I'll bring you some eggs and a paper.
That's very good of you, mate.
Least I could do.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah?
You didn't trust me with Thelma, did you?
No, I bloody didn't.
Oh, darling, you've finished the shelves. Don't they look lovely? You must have worked so hard. And all I do is bitch on and be unreasonable. Sorry. I'll stay if you like. Do you want me to? You do, don't you? Don't you want me to stay? You don't want me to stay, do you? Well, do you want me to stay or don't you? It's all right, I'll stay. Do you know, Pet, I'm not sure about that seaweed green now. Don't wake up. God bless. Darling, are you awake? This little piggy went to This little piggy said... What are you doing there?
Hello, Thelma. What are you doing here?
You fiends, the pair of them going to have a nervous breakdown.
You'd stop at nothing, would you?
What have I done? I've been out like a light since 10:30. I didn't know anything till 3 little piggies were galloping up my spine.
You devious bugger!
I told you to watch that hatch.
Morning.
Did Thelma explain about last night? Because if she did, you must understand it was all an accident, so it's pointless sitting there in a black off. What did she say, then?
I'm not talking to you.
Well, you might as well. It's going to be a long wait. There's a broken collarbone in there at the moment. And there's this gentleman.
Well, I shan't be long.
Well, you never know, do you? Might be worse than you think. Looks too clever to me.
Well, I've only come for the wife's prescription.
Oh, well, it can still take an age. Look, Bob, talking to me is better than a 1967 edition of Autocar. Did she explain?
Thelma is not speaking to me. Thelma is having a nervous breakdown.
All right. Well, I've Ernie in a minute, then. When she arrives, you fancy making up before for solo?
If it wasn't for this bad hand, I'd smash your face in.
If it wasn't for mine, I'd smash yours back.
I offered you my hospitality. I offered you my house because I felt sorry for you. I even came up there this morning to make you breakfast. I bought you some eggs, large brown organic eggs. I get there and you're in bed with my fiancée.
I use you, noddle, man. It's obvious what happened. Thelma came to stay at the house. Saw I was asleep and thought I was you. Didn't want to wake you up. So she got in beside me and went to sleep herself.
Not noticing I lost 2 stone during the day. Where'd I been?
Now, look, Bob, I am the last person that... I am the last person in the world that Thelma would want to cuddle up to. That's why she's having a nervous breakdown. Not because you found out she was in bed with me. Because she found out she was in bed with me. Now, I'm right, aren't I?
I don't know.
I swear it, honestly. Hope to die.
Nothing happened?
Not so much as a nudge. How's your hand?
I think the finger's broken.
No, it isn't, not if you can wiggle it about like that.
Well, it's very sore.
And so is mine. You better get that hatch of yours seen to. Mind you, the main reason I'm here this morning is to get some malaria pills.
You can't have malaria.
From the services. I was 2 years in the Mediterranean, you know.
I'd have thought you'd have webbed feet, not malaria.
She's not really having a nervous breakdown, is she?
Well, she's very upset. I'll have to go round there and make it up. Again. Ah, they're funny women, aren't they? If it's not one thing, it's the other.
Usually the other.
I seem to have been through so many hang-ups since you got back.
Oh, I'll have to go away. It's the only answer. I'll have to emigrate.
Oh, it's not you, mate. Not really.
Well, I'm glad you appreciate that.
Well, I can see her point. I mean, I do understand. I mean, you do represent a threat. You're the past. You're what we used to be. The lads. Knocking it back and putting it about.
Can't she see that that is all over?
Well, she's got to be made to. She's got to realise that you're just a friend now, not my bosom companion. She's my partner in life now. She's the one I'm going out to work for and building a future for and giving up all my spare time for.
Except Fridays, of course.
Well, yes, except Friday. That's always been lads' night.
And what about Tuesdays? Tuesday's dart match.
Yes, well, Tuesday's darts, isn't it?
And midweek football.
Well, obviously we'll be going to that together. But she's got the rest, except Sunday lunchtime.
And that isn't enough, dear me. They're so demanding, aren't they?
Aye, well.
Look, you do believe me about last night, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
You and I could have a swift half later on, seeing as she's having a nervous breakdown.
You're on.
Shake.
Shake. It's a game, though, isn't it?
Don't tell me, mate. I've been through it all.
Everything's such a drama.
Certainly wasn't my marriage. Cheers. That's an our arguments. We can never understand each other. What with her being German and me being English.
Well, couldn't she speak any English at all?
Oh, she had a few useful phrases like, where are you going? What time are you coming back? Give me some more money. That's all.
Thelma gets so hysterical. It's your female insecurity, of course. She was like this when I broke it off 6 months ago.
You broke it off? You mean again, after the first time?
And there's been once in the middle.
Well, you can hardly blame her for female insecurity, can you? Poor cow. I mean, poor lass. She can't know where she is. Now you see it, now you don't. She must feel like Pavlov's dog.
Like what?
Pavlov's dog, you know, they used to ring a bell and take its dinner away.
I thought Pavlov was a ballerina.
Very probably she was, but she had this dog who didn't know whether it was coming or going.
Oh, not as bad as that. I mean, every couple has their ups and downs. I mean, you just got to be cut and dried. People have to be sure in their own minds.
And why did you break it off the last time?
Irreconcilable differences.
So how come it's all on again?
Well, our name came up on the housing list.
Oh, now, Bob, please. Look, I've got no axe to grind. I'm not trying to stir things, but that is hardly a basis for marriage, is it? Loving someone, needing them, putting them up the stick, fine. But you don't get married because some bloke on the council writes and tells you your numbers come up.
It's not as bad as that. That was the past. There's no doubts now, no uncertainties.
I see. So at this moment in time, that little ring, after its many journeys up and down her digit, is firmly in place.
Yes. The banns are being called tomorrow, and all the invitations have gone out.
Oh, well, that's it, isn't it? There's no point in discussing it. What with the printer's charges and the cost of an announcement in the Northern Echo, it represents too large an investment. Can't let that go to waste.
Look, I've looked into this question of marriage very thoroughly. I'm well aware of the dangers of marrying for the wrong reasons. There's some people round here who get married just so they don't end up spare at the football club Christmas Eve dinner dance. But Thelma and I have been very mature about this. We haven't panicked ourselves into rushing things.
True, true. 19 years and 3 engagements. It's hardly impetuous, is it?
It's not that long.
It is. I remember the first day, clearly. Park Junior's 4B. It was me that brought you together, indirectly. Do you remember? Old man Hayward wanted to split us up, so he had a reshuffle. He moved her desk next to yours. I know, I lost my place at the radiator.
That's right. It's ironical, isn't it? The three of us have been reshuffling ever since.
You've always been up and down with her. Even then, you were rowing all the time. I remember your first row. She had a little bit of plasticine kept in a 4-square tobacco tin. And one day it disappeared. And she said you'd stole it, and you said you hadn't, and she didn't believe you. Trundled that desk right back across the room, she did.
How can you remember all this?
It was me that stole her plasticine.
And you've been coming between us ever since, haven't you? Haven't you? It was you used to spread that rumour about her going on the allotment with Frank Cheevers. It was you that told me her brother had gone to Borstal, and her mother was in the loony bin. You've been stealing Thelma's plasticine for 19 years, metaphorically speaking.
But you can tell you're marrying a grammar school girl.
Yeah, that's when I lost contact with her when she went to the grammar school. When you and I were banished to the blackboard jungle, I became her social inferior.
At that school, we were everybody's social inferior.
I used to watch her, through the railings, skipping. Her blouse tucked into her thick navy blue knickers. As Paul Anka put it at the time, so near and yet so far away.
Billy Fury.
Paul Anka.
It was Billy Fury.
No, it wasn't. Paul Anka. Quit on it.
You're on halfway to paradise, Billy Fury. I want to be your lover, but your friend is all I'll stay.
What
I'm
does
only
that mean? Your friend is all I'll stay.
I want to be your lover, but you'll only let me be your friend.
Hey, you two fairies, out.
Hello, Audrey.
Hello, Bob. It is nice to see you. Why do you think, Terry? We got the invitation. I must RSVP as soon as I can get a minute.
As soon as I get this bandage off, I'm going to stick one on that fella.
I see the reception's at the county. That'll be nice.
Oh, I learned a few tricks in the army.
How do you feel about the big day, Bob? Nervous?
No, not really, no.
He's terrified. He's got cold feet. In his case, cold flat feet.
No, I haven't. I'm looking forward to it, Audrey. Thanks very much.
Has he been staring it?
He hasn't helped.
Well, don't listen to his marriage guidance counsel.
I know what it's about. I've been through it all.
And I know what it's about. I've been married for 5 years and I've got 2 kids and a bad back to show for it. But I know marriage isn't a breakfast food commercial, Bob. You've got to work at it. That's the secret.
I tried. God knows I tried.
Oh, he never lifted a finger to save his marriage. It was madness in being married in the first place. Oh, but you, Bob, you'll make a lovely husband and a smashing father.
If only we'd had children.
Oh, don't let him give you all that about how he's suffered. Oh, the heartbreak and the anguish. You want to get him to tell you how his marriage failed, Bob. That'll give you an idea of his anguish.
That hurts. More than you will ever know. That hurts.
He only told me about it yesterday. Audrey, did you ever meet his wife?
Once.
What was she like?
Well, she was a very, physical girl.
You mean there was a lot of her?
Well, it wasn't so much that there was a lot of her, but what there was, one was made very aware of.
He always did like bigger girls, Terry. He always was a breast man. I mean, as opposed to a leg man or a thigh man.
Oh, yes. And what sort of a man are you then, Bob?
Oh, I think the face counts. And manners are very important. Yes, the face and manners. And sensitivity and deportment. And I like big knockers and all.
Seeing you lot, your loins rule your head.
Well, it is very important in marriage, Audrey, the physical side. I wouldn't be marrying Thelma if we weren't... Well, if we didn't... If we couldn't... If we weren't attracted to each other.
Well, you've had plenty of time to find out the times you've been engaged.
Yes, well, we have.
Yes,
Found out.
I wondered why it took you 6 months to decorate your new house.
It needed 2 undercoats.
Aye, and an overcoat and 2 pillars.
And a lot of nerve, considering the plasterers were in the kitchen.
Oh, you'll be all right, Bob, you and Thelma.
We're always having rows.
Well, marriage is a lot of rows with breaks in between to get your breath back. But you'll last the distance.
You're happy, aren't you, Aud?
Well, I suppose so. Ernie and I don't have so many rows since I've taken up yoga. I mean, when he picks a fight with me now, I just sit in the lotus position with a serene smile on my face. Drives him mad. Ta.
Terry,
What?
how did your marriage end?
Irreconcilable differences.
No, I mean, was it having rows or another fella or what? I mean, what was the last straw, as it were?
It all built to a climax in June 1970. June the 14th it was, 9:30 local time. I had a weekend pass, so I was spending the weekend with our family. They were all there, my mother and father, uncles and brothers, all sitting round the telly after dinner, full of veal and sauerkraut and popping their cans of Dortmunder beer. And then it happened. The thing that snapped the final thread of our chance of happiness together.
What happened?
What happened? On June the 14th, 1970, I would have thought that that date was indelibly printed on every true Englishman's mind. England 2, West Germany 3. That was what
Oh, God, aye, of course.
Have you any idea what it was like to be in Germany that night, West Germany? Especially after being 2 up. I mean, after the second, I was out of my mind. I was on the sideboard singing Rule Britannia. And then the shame, the humiliation. And them all leaping up and down, their eyes glazed with national fervour. I thought they were going to invade Poland again.
Don't. I've only just learned to live with it myself.
Well, you can imagine what it was like for me. I just got up, went quite unnoticed, got me bag, and walked out of her life forever.
Well, I think I would have done the same. It was bad enough here. I can't say I blame you, mate. I had to go to bed and lie down. 2 weeks.
So that was that.
Takes a long time to get over something like that.
Of course it does.
You can't just shrug it off and forget it.
Back to square one and start again.
Pick up the pieces.
Start afresh.
Mind you, I think Chivers has made a difference.
Oh.
Do you want me to come over? Well, it's up to you. I didn't say that. Do you want me to come over? Oh. You don't want me to come over? I do. That's why I offered to.
God preserve us.
I only said that in case you didn't want me to. But I want to. That's why I offered to. Well, I didn't just come round in case you didn't want to see me, or you were lying down, or having one of your migraines. I didn't say one of your migraines. I said one of your migraines.
Love is a many splendid.
No, it's, I'm not with Terry, sweet. It's the wireless. I'm round at Audrey's. I'm just having tea with Audrey. No, she can't talk to you at the moment. She's in the lotus position.
Love is a way of giving.
Hang on a minute. I'll just turn the sounds down, Pet. Will you stop your stirring? That's better, Thelma. Thelma? Oh.
She rung off?
Yes, she has. She's rung off. Thanks to you, she's rung off.
It's just as well. There's no end to conversations like that. So are you?
Am I what?
Going over. Are you going over? You're not going over. You're not going over, because if you did go over, you might wish you hadn't gone over.
Oh, shut your face, Terry.
Oh, I do wish you'd come down from there. It can't do you any good, you know, all that yoga. You'll do yourself a permanent injury.
Is she still upset, Bob?
She doesn't want me to go over.
Ah!
She stopped work on that cardigan she was knitting me.
Oh, down needles, has she?
Terry.
It was a fawn one for weekends.
I hate people who wear cardigans.
Oh, like your father, I suppose, and your granddad and all your uncles, because they all wear cardigans.
Not that sort of cardigan. Your sort. The sort Thelma will be knitting you. All wiggly, chunky wool, and beige, and fawn, and rugby clubs, and Sunday morning open-air drinks, and barbecues, and cocker spaniels, and gin and tonics, and cross and black wolves.
Oh, he's the original angry young man, isn't he? Except he's about 10 years out of date, like his hair and his shoes.
What is that supposed to mean?
You're a knocker. Terry Collier, the alternative voice.
Yeah, except people like him don't offer an alternative. They're just against things, everything. Not just other people's cardigans.
I am against the things that threaten my liberty. I don't want to be submerged. I don't want to be suffocated by society, by conventions, by...
Marriage. Go on, say it. That's what all this is leading up to.
Pardon?
Marriage, you know, this blessed union, holy wedlock? This is just another of your not very subtle attempts to kick me in the matrimonial groin.
All I am trying to do is warn friends, very close friends, about rushing into things which I have learned through bitter experience to think twice about. I know all about holy wedlock. Holy necklock. Do you submit? Do you submit?
Yes, well, your marriage might have been like that, a match paid for points, but my marriage is going to be a thing of joy and great beauty. No wonder yours never got off the ground. There's too much meanness inside you.
Absolutely.
Too much aggression and hostility.
Absolutely.
No wonder your marriage failed on the strength of a late Gerd Muller goal.
I tried. God knows I tried.
Oh, do you think that was I shouldn't have said that, should I? You think that was a bit unkind?
Don't fret on his behalf, Bob. He's only gone out to get the chocolate biscuits.
I do worry, though, you know, Audrey. I do worry. I mean, look at all the friends we know that have split up. Oh, we all left school together. We all had engagements together, all had 21st together. Now everyone's separating. I mean, I'm just getting it together, and all my contemporaries are getting it apart.
Well, don't count out Terry.
Oh, I don't mean him. I mean all sorts of people. Even the Sandersons have split up.
Never.
True?
I'm surprised they could find the energy. Their marriage was as dull as a Welsh Sunday.
Their divorce wasn't.
Frank Clark's left home, ran off with an usherette from the Regal.
He always carried a torch for her.
I nearly left Ernie a few years ago, but I couldn't find the time.
Tony and Ord. Tony and Ord, Doug and Glennis.
What happened there?
They all went on a cruise together.
That was a finish?
Yep, now it's Doug and Ord, Tony and Glennis.
And you're having your bands read tomorrow with all these warning lights flashing round you?
Yeah, I better be off and all. I'm supposed to be seeing the Reverend Gordon about the details.
Gordon? The Gordon? I thought the vicar's name was Newman.
Oh, didn't you hear? He left his wife.
Vicar and all? There's nothing sacred?
Yeah, it was in all the local papers. He ran off with a petrol pump attendant.
He left a wife, 3 kids, and 21 books of Green Shield stamps from his courtship.
Thanks for the tea, Audrey.
I hope everything goes all right tomorrow, Bob.
I see you in church.
What? You what? You're not coming, are you?
Well, I thought I'd pop round. Hearing's believing.
What for? I don't want you there. You're up to something, aren't you? You're not going to come up with any just impediments, are you?
Just depends. Does Frank Cheevers on the allotment come under that?
You cock things up for me tomorrow, mate. I'll smash your head in bad hand and no bad hand.
Let's put the wind up his bands.
What are you going to church for? Can you remember the last time you were in church?
Aye, clearly. There was this fella splashing water all over me head.
Aren't you?
Don't worry, there's only one reason I want to hear those bands read.
What?
All the time I've known Bob, there's something he would never tell me. And tomorrow I'll find out.
What?
His middle name. I've always known it was Robert Andrew S. Ferris, but I've never known what that S stood for, and he's never told me, so it must be something ludicrous.
I didn't know that.
He hushed it up. Even on his satchel and his pencil case, he only ever put R.A.F. He's always hushed that S up.
I wonder what it could mean.
That's bound to be something to do with the war, a battle or a general, or even a film star.
S. S.
Robert Andrew Stalin Ferris? No, his dad wouldn't even join the Union. Robert Andrew Sands of Iwo Jima Ferris. Didn't even get overseas. Robert Andrew Shirley Temple Ferris.
Grant unto thy people, we beseech thee, O Lord, to avoid every contamination of the devil, and with pure minds to follow thee, the only God, through our Lord. May the working of thy pity direct our hearts. we beseech
Bob.
thee, O Lord.
What? What's the matter?
Nothing.
Not able to please thee,
Nothing.
through our Lord.
Well, pray.
We will now sing hymn number 160, Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty.
Hey, you're still a collier's lad, aren't you? Young Terry, is it?
Not as young as I used to be. How are you, then?
Fine, fine. They tell me you're at services.
Aye, I was. They've kicked off in there, have they?
About half an hour ago. You're not going in there, though.
Certainly I am.
Well, God moves in a mysterious way, has wonders to perform.
Hey, listen to that. I remember that one. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. That was a hit in my day.
Hey, did you hear about Reverend Newman? He loses his pension, you know.
Yes. Look, I better get in. I don't want to miss the sermon.
So find a seat up back.
You doing good business, are you?
Aye, champion.
See you then. Who wants seats? Who wants seats?
On Tuesday, Sister Elizabeth Hayes will be giving a talk on her work in Tehran with the voluntary service overseas. And on Saturday, of course, it's our jumble sale. The church hall will remain open all day Friday for those of you who want to leave some jumble. And then on Friday evening, Mrs. Ponchon will be giving an illustrated lecture on birds of the Farne Islands. And afterwards, there will be coffee and 20 questions in the Scout Hall.
It's going to be quite a week.
I published the banns of marriage between Judith Mary Caldecott, spinster of this parish, and David St. John Pierce, bachelor of the parish of Christ Church, Purley. This is for the second time of asking, and between Thelma Ingrid Chambers, spinster of this parish, and Robert Andrew Scarborough Ferris, bachelor of the parish of St. Mark's. This is for the first time of asking. If any of you know cause or just impediment why these persons should not be joined together...
Morning. Come to get the bandage off, have you?
Yes.
Aye, me and all. Well, the deed's done, the bands are read, countdown's commenced. 10, 9, 8,
Very
7.
witty.
How's Thelma?
Thelma is not speaking to me.
God preserve us. Now what?
Now what? You reduced that service in that church yesterday to a shambles. You made that service a laughingstock. Thelma said she's never been so embarrassed.
Well, don't blame me, mate. Don't blame me. Blame your parents. Why? Why Scarborough?
That was where... That was... They told me once that was where I was... Where I was... conceived.
Get away.
Yes.
And they could work it out that precisely?
Apparently.
Did they only have it off on summer holidays, then?
Didn't live in there. My father was stationed there at the end of the war. They called me that out of sentiment.
Oh, I see. It's a good job he wasn't stationed in Barrow-in-Furness.
Well, I've never used it, and I never will, so let's forget it, shall we? Nobody knows about it.
Except that congregation.
Yeah, well, they're not the kind of people to rush into the streets shouting it abroad, are they?
My lips are sealed, Robert Andrew.
Good.
And, Thelma, are our lips still sealed, then? Any chance of her breaking the angry silence before the service? Or will she go through it nodding her head and using the deaf and dumb language?
We just had a little row, that's all. Nothing serious, nothing I can't handle.
Nothing you won't get used to.
I'm going through with it, you know.
Oh, no, I know. Don't tell me, mate. I've known since 4B. Your fate with her was sealed before you're 11 plus.
One of the things about the last few days is give me a chance to iron out any last-minute doubts. I'm grateful to you. You've given me a chance to re-examine. Well, I have. I've re-examined. I've reappraised. And now I'm reassured.
Good. I'm glad to hear it, because now is the time to have doubts. Not when she's galloping up that aisle. When the vicar says, do you take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife, you can't say not necessarily.
My mind is made up. I may have had a few little doubts, but that was just cold feet. I know in my heart of hearts that Thelma is the girl for me. I know what I want, and I know who I want. She's the one. Always has been. Always will be. Of that, I'm certain. I think.